Last week, Mr. Beast and Mark Rober reached out asking for help spreading awareness for their new mission to clean up 30 million pounds of plastic waste from the ocean. To do this, they started TeamSeas, and for every dollar that is donated, 1 pound of plastic trash will be cleaned up from our rivers, our beaches, and the ocean. So as the app builder that I am, I wanted to make a game to help spread the word. The goal of the game is to remove all the trash from the ocean by finding the matching trash. And if you do it quick enough, you might even make it on the leaderboard. You know, the game itself, it may look simple, but I have a question. Could you code it? Well, I did, and I can show you how to do that. So just keep on watching. I'm gonna show you exactly how I made this matching game. And if you'd like to support TeamSeas, you can go to teamseas.org to learn more. And if you wanna hear my take on Mr. Beast, Mark Rober, and what the TeamSeas organization is doing, you'll have to watch to the end of the video to see and hear why I'm so passionate about this project. So now, let's go ahead and get to building this app. Alrighty, let us build this game now. So, I built this game using Glide, which is a no-code software builder. If you're not familiar with no-code, that just means we are building software without like typing in code. So it's just like a really quick, faster way of building software. And so I've loved Glide for my business and for my customers. But anyways, come to Glide if you're gonna follow along with me, create an account. Once you sign in, you'll be on a page that looks like this, my apps. We're gonna create a brand new project. I'm gonna show you how to do this from scratch. We're gonna create a mobile app for this game. And we'll type this or call this TeamSeas Demo. And then the source of the game is gonna be Glide tables. And that's just their internal data source. So while this is loading up, you'll notice in this video, it's not very edited or choppy like all my other videos are that are really succinct and quick. So we're doing this more real time, and just wanna show you how to do this step by step. So let's go ahead and look back at the other app. So we have a page where we can start a game. When we click on that button, it comes to a page that looks like this. It has a ticking clock. We have cards that we can flip over, and we can quit down at the bottom. And then once it's over, I'm not going to go through it now. It shows like the time basically of how long it took you. So I think where we should start, and where I started when I built this, was building out these cards, because that's kind of like the central thing you're going to be interacting with inside of the game. So let's go ahead and work on that. If we go to our Glide project and come over to the table here, there's 2 tables. So let's go ahead and rename the users table as game, and then the things table to be cards. And the cards, I think instead of doing like 30 cards, what we'll do is what did I do? 12. So it'll be 12 cards in total, which means there will be 6 matches. All right, so the first thing we should do is go ahead and add in the emojis. So if we edit this, make this an emoji column, we can call this card face. And then it's just a matter of adding in 15 emojis. So, or sorry, 12. So we'll do 2 caterpillars. We'll do, I guess I should stick with the TeamSeas theme, do a wave in there. We can do the planet. We can do a person smiling. Do a heart. Oh, heart didn't work. Let's do a hand waving. And then we'll pick one more. Let's do trash, because we're bin, garbage. I can't find it. Can. I can't find the emoji. All right, let's just do the bike. Yeah, that'll be good. All right, so now that we have 12 card faces, we also need the kind of like the back of the card. So what I ended up using for this was an image, and I'll pull that up here. Oh, it went ahead and downloaded it, but looks exactly like this. So it's just kind of like a water image. So I can create a new template column, and this will be the card back. And the reason I'm doing a template column is because it will apply it to every row. So I don't have to paste this link into a cell, essentially. So I'll just paste that link in there, and that'll pull in the card back. And now I have a card back and a card face. So let's go see what that looks like here. So we're on things. We have a list. Let's change this to be tiles. And we're going to edit the list. So we have tiles. Let's get rid of the details there. Get rid of that. And instead of owner, let's make this the card face. That gives us the emoji. Let's do a 3-column shindig here. Let's make these square. So now we have the emojis there. We will sharpen the corners, make things a little bit tighter. And yeah, so this looks exactly like kind of what we have going over here, where we flip it over and there's like an emoji there. All right, so now we need to be able to click on them. And when we click on them, it shows the back by default. And when we click on it, it'll show the emoji. So let's do that. So we need a place to store if they have clicked on it. To do that, we'll create a Boolean column, which is just like a yes, no. So we're going to say is flipped is the name. So we're trying to track, is it flipped or not? And then a big thing here is I'm going to make this user specific. So user specific means that everybody who logs into the app is going to be storing their own value. You don't want somebody else, when they flip it, to like their flip to show up on your device. So we're going to make this user specific, which means anyone or everybody's own value is going to be stored on whenever they are using the app. And then I'm going to create another column called if then else, and we'll call this image to show. And so we'll say if is flipped is true, meaning they have flipped the card, we will show the card face. Else, let's show the card back. All right, so now we have an image to show. And I'm going to go ahead and delete these other columns while we're here, because we're not going to need any of these. Cool. All right, so now let's go back to our tile list and let's change the image source instead of card face to be image to show. And now it shows the back face, and when I click on it, it goes to like another screen. Well, that's because we haven't edited the action that occurs whenever you click on something. So right here, show detail for this item. Let's change this to create a brand new action. And this will allow us to create like a series of actions or kind of logically do something based off the data. So here, let's just do whenever it clicks, we want to set it to the opposite. So the way I do this, let me go ahead and rename this. We'll have to go back. I forgot something. What I like to do is create a if then else column, and we'll call it reverse flip. And this we will just put the if is flipped is true, then this will return false, else return true. So what this basically is it's always the opposite of the current value of flipped. So if I check one of these, it's going to reverse this. If I check one of these, it's going to reverse this. So we need this so that when we click, we can always set it to its reverse. So let's do that now. So go back to the list, go back to our action. And here, whenever we click on it, we're going to set column values, set flipped equal to reverse flip, and save that. So now whenever we click on something, it's always going to set it to the reverse. Cool. So I think the next thing we should do is only allow you to, well, let's do, oh yeah, let's only allow two items to be flipped at the same time, okay? So to do that, let me just check back at my code over here. All right, so basically we need to know if two things are currently flipped. And if two things are flipped, we're not going to flip something else. We're only going to allow them to flip one thing at a time. So let's add a roll-up column. And a roll-up just allows you to like look at a column and do like some kind of aggregation on it. So like a sum or a count. So we're going to look at cards is flipped. And if we're going to count the total number flipped. Or not count. We're going to count true. Yeah, so count true. So this is going to be the unique or count. We'll call it number. Let's just use it. Number of faces showing. All right, so now if we flip 2 over, this goes up. So what we want to do is whenever we flip it, just double check here. Whenever we flip, we want to check to see if it equals 2. So we'll add a condition. Let's do this. So if faces showing equals 2, then we basically will play, what I did was play a sound. You probably won't hear this on the video right now. But yeah, what I did was if it equals to 2, then we won't flip the card essentially. And then this one should be if less than 2. So if faces showing is less than 2. Well, not less than 0, less than 2. And I think I had, no, that looks good. Cool. So let's save that and see what happens. All right, so what's happening here is I'm clicking and nothing is happening. And there are currently 2 things showing. So remember our logic that we added said that if 2 things are showing, we're not going to allow you to flip. So what we need to add is if 2 things are showing and the flipped value is true. I'm a little lost here. Why did I do this? If is flipped is true. Let's try that. All right, what do we do here? Faces showing count is less than 2, then we flip. So that's what that was. If faces showing count equals, okay, that's what we did. Okay. I'm sane, I promise. So if there are 2 things showing and the one you click is currently showing, then we will reverse it. That's what we want to do. So instead of doing this, we'll do set columns. Set is flipped equal to reverse flip. And then else, if nothing else, we're not going to do anything. So if 2 things are showing and you click one that is showing, it will reverse it. But if 2 things are showing and the one you click is not showing, then nothing happens. So this forces the user to always, you can't click more than 2. Perfect. So now that we have that in place, we need to add it so that if they find a match, we need to actually track the match, because that's the goal. We want to find all of the matches. So to do this, we kind of get into actually starting the game. So let's kind of take a step back and think about this. So basically the way that I thought about this was whenever they start the game, we set a timestamp, and then whenever they find a match, we store the time that match was found. And so then if all the matches are found, then the game is over. And then to restart the game, we just reset the time when the game was started. So let's go ahead and go through that. And we're going to take another step back, and we have to get into what's going on here. So whenever you're making apps in Glide and you need to store things for each individual user, or you want to make a game like this where they don't necessarily have to be logged in, what I typically do is uncheck me, and that's me there, and I'm going to delete this and delete this as well. And I'm trying to think, oh wait, we need to be on this tab. Let me just look at my reference real quick. Yeah, so you'll see why I'm doing this in a second. So we're gonna call this link. It's gonna be text. And we're just gonna call this a green dot. And what we need to do is store the start time of the game. This is going to be a date, and it's going to be user specific. So whenever someone comes to the app, we want to play around with the start time essentially. So whenever we want to control if the game is started, if this is populated. And remember that user specific columns mean that everybody is going to have their own value here. So what we need to do is over here in cards, we'll have the match time whenever the match was found. So we'll add another date time field that's user specific, match found. And let's go ahead and put in the link. So I think I'm jumping ahead and you're not really following along. I need to think, I'm trying to like build all the plumbing in here. So let's think back. What are we trying to do? So basically whenever a match is found, let's do that first. Whenever a match is found, we want to populate the time that the match was found. And another thing that I should have thought of before that's really going to mess us up is we need this screen to be pointed at the game table. So right now, if we go over to the tabs, it's pointed at cards. We need this to be pointed at game so that we can control different things on the page. So we're going to recreate this table real quick, and I'm also going to have to recreate this action. So let me go ahead and take a picture of this. All right. And all right, so here, let's go ahead and duplicate this. We'll call this hashtag TeamSeas game. And it's going to be pointed at the game table, and it's going to be details. And this just allows us to add, you can see over here, add a bunch of different things on the screen, but the data behind it is kind of like our controller table for the current user that's logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a inline list, and then I'm going to update this to basically be exactly what we had before. So I'll do that now. So the value, the data that's going to be supporting it is cards. We're not going to have a title. We're not going to have a title here either. The image is going to be the image to show. This needs to be a tile list. That's why I couldn't unselect that. And we'll do square. Tight. All right, so here we go. So now we have that in there. And then we just need to update this action. So create new action. We call it flip. We say if the number of faces showing is less than 2, then we set the column values. So we flip the card. We set is flipped to reverse flip. And then else if the number of faces showing equals 2, so there's 2 cards showing, and if the current card that you tagged is flipped, then we'll flip it. Else, we're not going to flip it. So columns, set is flipped to reverse flip. All right, so now we should only be able to flip 2. Cool. So now we need to detect if a match has been found. And then we'll get into like storing that match time and controlling when the game is over and such. Let me go ahead and delete this original page there. So the way that I did this was, in addition to knowing the number of faces showing, so I'll just go ahead and duplicate this. We also need to know the number of, let's see, unique. Where'd it go? Unique faces showing. So count true. And then we can do count unique. Yeah. So we have 1. Uh-oh. This is not good. What am I doing? Oh, we're not counting is flipped. We're counting cards. This is what it was. We need another column to show the whatever's flipped. Yeah, so let's do if then else, because we need to show the actual emoji that is currently showing. So if we do is flipped is true, then we will show the card face. So I'll call this card face if showing. So what this allows us to do is we'll change faces showing to point at that column. So is flipped, card face if showing, count. And then this one, same thing, card face if showing, count unique. And so now whenever we check something, so here it's showing, since this is checked, it's showing the emoji right there. And then here, number of faces showing is 2, but there's only 1 unique one showing. If we check here, it says 3, but now there's 2 unique. If we check the other wave, now 4 faces are showing, but there's only 2 unique ones. And so essentially we want to mark it as a match if there are 2 faces showing and only 1 unique face showing. So basically, is it the same card showing on both sides? So let's go ahead and add that in on our action whenever we click on something. So what we're going to do is create a new action, and just so we're not going all over the place, let me pull up, because I remember I had quite a bit of logic in here. Okay, not too bad. Currently showing card face is, what is this? Faces showing count equals 1. Okay. Cool. So for this one, I said, oh my. Yeah, this got pretty advanced, I remember now. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in what we had before. So number of faces showing equals 1. So if there's currently one face showing, and then the one I clicked, if that one is not flipped, true, then we're going to do something. All right, so let's go. Oh, I need to add in an action here. Then we will set the, let's see, set column values to true. Or let's change this to show for now. So show notification is match. All right, you're gonna have to bear with me on this one because this gets pretty complex. It's pretty advanced stuff inside of Glide. So, so if we click on one and then we click on another that's currently not shown, that's what we were saying. So if we click on one and the other one is not shown, then it's a match right now. So we need to add another statement that checks to see if that one that we clicked matches the one that is currently shown. So we need this idea of, we need to be able to see inside of our code whichever one is currently shown. So let me hop back and we'll go through this together. And I think I ended up using, it looks like I ended up using row IDs to determine which one is currently shown. So, so basically, whenever you click on something, so like say I click on this smiley face, whenever I click on that, I only have visibility to this data. I can't really check to see, like I can't see that this one down here is checked. So what I need is, if we like scroll over, is I need a column over here that says, okay, this emoji is currently showing, but it has to be in this row because I only have visibility to what is in this row. So I need to add a way that there's basically a full column that only shows the single emoji that is currently shown. So that's the goal. We're trying to get, if this one is checked, then I want over here a column of all of these that are currently shown so that when they click on something, I can check to see if the one that was clicked matches the one that's currently shown. So I ended up using row IDs for this. And a row ID is just a unique ID for each row. And then similar to this column, so card face if showing, let's duplicate this. I did row ID if showing. So instead of card face, we can do row ID. And then we can join a list together. So we'll create a list of those. So we'll do a joined list. So this is currently showing row ID list. Join text in cards. And we're going to join together this list, row ID of showing. All right, so now we have a list. You can see, well, it's kind of hard to see here, but basically we have the first row ID and the second row ID. All right, and then we need to, right now this is just text essentially. We need to split this into be an actual list. So like an array if you know coding and stuff like that. So then we'll do currently showing split list. And we're going to split the currently showing row ID list. So now you can see it's kind of separated. You can see there's no comma there and it has like these little tiles. So that's how we know it's in like a list format. And then we want to get the first one in that list. So then we can get a single value. And this is kind of hacky. I wish there was an easier way to do kind of what I'm trying to do, but this is the way that I found to do it. So currently showing single row ID. So we'll get the first one in this currently showing list. So now you can see this is down to 1, and this is what we needed. So remember how I said we want to show, if it's showing, we want it to show here for everything. And the reality is only one item will be showing. So let's uncheck this. Whenever you click on something, there will only ever be either one other item showing or it's not, because if you click on it and it's a match, then it'll be a match. All right, so now we have this row ID in this whole column, which is what we were going for. And so now from here, we can do a lookup to see what emoji goes with this row ID. So for that, we need yet 2 more columns. So we'll do the row, we'll just call this row ID to emoji relation. So we're gonna match the row ID here to the row ID in our cards table, which is this table. And we're gonna do a single match. And then we'll do currently showing emoji. And so now we're finally to where we wanted to be. So now we can do a lookup through that relation that we just added and grab the card face, and boom. Just like I said, we want, if we click on here, we want this emoji to show up in a column over here. And so same thing, if we switch this to like the water, then now the water shows. So that was just a lot of work for something that's kind of like simple, but it took me a while to figure out. So now what this allows us to do is in our action, edit the action, we can add in this condition that if the card face of the one that's clicked is equal to the currently showing emoji, then we call it a match. So now, if I click here, it should just show the other item. I can't click 2, or more than 2, but I can toggle different ones. But if I click the one that matches, it calls it a match, because the one I clicked matches the current one showing. And so now we just need to update the action to mark these 2 as matched. So let me go through those updates. Did I already add in the match time? Can't remember. I did, yeah, match found time. So we're gonna update that. So here we can go through this action, so inline list, flip. So right here, now it's only gonna call it a match once it's a match. Let's add so column. So this is the one that's flipped. Let's go ahead and show it as flipped. So we'll say is flipped to true. So it's going to show that value. Then we're going to show the notification match. And then I added a sound that would play whenever a match was found. Let's call it new thought. So it's kind of like flipping it and saying, oh, it's a match. And then now we need to mark the one that was clicked and the other one that was the actual match, both as matches. So then we can do set column values for the card that was clicked. So that's in this row. Set is flipped to false. And then set match found to current time. And then we'll do the same thing, but for the one that is currently shown. So we can do the set column values again, but instead of updating this item, we'll update the row ID to emoji relation, which is that currently shown item. We'll update that one with the same thing. So we'll set is flipped to false, and then match found to current date time. And so now we should see, if I click on this, it says match, and then both of these go to the water. So if I do that, boom, says match, both these go to water. Awesome. So yeah, this is good stuff. So now we can go look at the data real quick. So now both these have a match found. And so now we want to show something else if the match is found, essentially. So we'll update image to show. Cool. So if, for now, let's just put this in. So if match found is not empty, then we're not going to show anything. So now it doesn't show anything. So that's good. Cool. And so now as we go through, we're playing around, all the good stuff. We find a match. It says match, and then it goes away. Perfect. We can go through. We can check other ones. So now we're finding these matches. So this is great stuff. So I guess the next thing that we should do is, let's say we find all of the matches. Boom. All right, well, now nothing happens. The game is over. Everything is found. So what are we going to do? So now we need kind of like a way to like restart the game and to start the game and to show that the game is over and a place to show them how long it took them. So all of that good stuff. So to do that, basically we need a way to see if the game has started or not. So the way I did this was I created a separate tab here and I added let's just add a button for game start. So we'll call this start new game and make it a green button. And what this button does, all it does is set column values. So we set the start time of the game to here. So it sets the start time. And so basically, we want to show this screen if there is no start time, so the game hasn't started, or the game is over. So this is where this screen right here, we need to start looking at data in this table because we need to detect if the game is over. So that's why I added this right here. It's a link. It's a way for us to match or retrieve data from this table. So let me go ahead and add in a template column here. And we'll just call this link. Be that green dot. Done. And then now I need a relation to look up everything that has this green dot. So I'll look at link, and then I'm going to go to cards and grab link, and I'm going to match multiple. And this gives me all cards. Hold that thought. Did I actually find all uses? Okay, I did. Okay. Actually, I don't need to do this way, but there is another reason I have this. So let me delete this. I got a little ahead of myself there. What we need to know in order to end the game is if all matches have been found. So the way I did this was I used these roll-up columns again, which again allow you to look at a column, sum it up, average it, count it, all that good stuff. So I did number of cards. So I want a cell that tells me how many cards there are. So if we look at cards and we go to row ID, I can count it, and this tells me there are 12 cards. Then I need to know how many matches there are. So we'll go ahead and do this. We'll do a roll up. We'll look at cards. We'll look at match found. Count that. So number of matches, and we're gonna have to change this in a little bit. So keep this in mind. So now, basically the game is over. So we'll do is game over. This will be if then else. So if the number of matches equals the number of cards, then true. So that means they've matched everything, else false. So now we want to show this kind of like starter tab whenever the start time is empty. Whenever start time is empty, or the game is over. Is game over? We set this. Is game over is true. And then same thing over here. We can do the same thing. So kind of like the reverse though. So if start time is not empty and game over is not true. So now only one tab shows. And if I click on this, it should show the other tab because we populated that start time. And it did not do that. Start time. Oh yeah. Because right now the game is over. So we have to go do the downstream stuff that I was trying to do like 10 minutes ago. So we need to change how matches work. So now that we have the start time, remember whenever we start the game, we want all of the matches to go away because they're not matched anymore. It's a new game. So we need to determine in this table, we need to know the time the game starts so that we can in turn determine if these matches are valid anymore. So this is why I created this link earlier, because we need to look up the match time. So if I do game start, and I'm doing this totally on the fly, but I just thought of another way to do this. Let's see if it works. So if I do first, I get the first item in game start time, then this will always be the first time. I don't have to look it up through a relation. That's brilliant. So let's delete that link. So now I have the game start time, and then I can do an if then else. So is matched. So if the match found is after game start time, then true. Else, false. So right now, the game start time is 10:07 a.m. and these match times are 10:01, 10:02, 10:03. If I go back and I change this to, let's say 9, whoopsies. We go back to cards, scroll over. Now these are matched. So now we need to update everywhere we've talked about, is it matched or not? We need to update to look at this column here. So I think I had a, let's see. So no other columns here using that, but I did change image to show. So image to show, match found. So instead of saying match found is not empty, let's show blank if is matched is true. And then in this table, instead of looking at number of matches in the match found column, we're going to look at the is matched field and count the ones that are true. So right now, yeah, that should be good. So right now, remember it's showing that all things are matched. So the game is over 12-12. But now if I reset this to 10, remember, then number of matches goes to 0, is game over, is unchecked, so it's not game over anymore. Why is this tab showing? Show tab, start time is empty, or is game over is true. Huh? Is this a filter issue? That looks good. What did I do? Come on, people. So start time is not empty. Is game over? Is not true. So it should be showing the, oh, there we go. Oh, no. Okay, go back. So right now, start time is empty. So let's just click start a new game. So that screen goes invisible. This screen is visible now. Let's find all of our matches. A little refresh always helps. Perfect. All right, so now this screen goes invisible. This screen is now visible because the game is over. So now we can do, let's just do like a little hint for, we'll say game over. Thanks for playing. Put that center. And then we'll show this hint if is game over is true. And then the other thing I wanted to add was the elapsed time, so how long it took them. So if we do, so we have the start time, so we need to know the end time. So the way we can do that is look up through a roll up, go look at cards, look at match found time, and get the latest time. So we'll say last match found time. So now we have the start time and the end time essentially. So we can do a math block or a math column, and we'll do elapsed time. And so this will be last match found minus start time. So last match found time minus start time. We'll do 1. So right now it's showing 0. And that's because I believe it's in like milliseconds or something right now. So if we do times 60 times 24. Oh, there we go. Let me just see what I ended up doing over here. Yeah, I was close. So one more time 60 to get it into seconds. So 13. So basically 24 gets it into hours, times 60 gets the decimal into minutes, and then times another 60 gets it into seconds. So 13.3 seconds. And then I can do, I think I did a table in the other app. So we'll do last, elapsed time. Last try. We'll call this last try. 13 seconds. And then we'll show this, let's see, if the start time is not empty and is game over is true. Awesome. This is looking great. This is looking pretty good. So let's refresh the screen again. All right, so now these two aren't showing, but it says start new game. That brings me to this other screen. I can match. One thing we need to do, let's make this hard on me right now while I'm doing the demo. Instead of sorting by sheet order, we need to sort this randomly. So now I don't know where all the matches are. You got to watch me do this. Oh, I get lucky. I'm so lucky. Yeah, come on. All right, so now the other screen would show that lasted 24 seconds. It says game over. Thanks for playing. And this is the matching game. Now, there are a lot of other bells and whistles on this app because I wanted to kind of hype it up for the demo. We have like this thing over here that's basically like an information page. We can quit the game. And we can add in that real quick. Let's go to start new game. Down at the bottom, let's add a button to, and I called it quit. We'll make it red and just the text. And basically to quit the game, remember the game going on is all dependent on if there's a start time. So, or when the game started. So if we go to set column values and set start time to clear value, that'll empty out that start time and end the game. So that one's not too bad. There is a leaderboard, but that one, that can get very complex. I made it pretty complex for this app. So maybe I'll do another video on that in the future. Let me know if you want to see that. So yeah, the game, I would call it done as for the sake of this demo. So now you can see how to start a game, how to find matches, control only 2 cards being flipped. You saw how to make it a match, determine if it's a match. Boom, boom. Oh, wait. I think one of my flipped values didn't get reset because I was clicking so quickly. Let's reset that. Ah. There we go. I have not experienced that bug yet. That kind of concerns me, but we'll call it good to go. The app is done. And so now the great thing about building apps in Glide, and the reason I use it for all of the apps I make for other people, is because of this right here. We can style the app really quickly, give it a nice little theme and all that good stuff. We can change the name. Let's make sure this is hashtag TeamSeas demo. We'll give it a icon with the wave on there. And then this right here is why this is so powerful. I can publish this just by clicking Publish App. We'll rename this to TeamSeas Demo, so it has its own unique URL. And now I can just go to that page, and the app is live. So you can go, I always do this. Change privacy equal to public, so you don't have to actually log into the app. Refresh that. All right, so now the app is live. And all I have to do to share this app is get people to scan this QR code. You might have scanned the QR code down the corner. And they can actually install it on their phone. So there's no app store. All you have to do is share the link and people can start using the app. Pretty nifty stuff. So, let me quit the game. Boom. So that is how I made my TeamSeas matching game app, the basics of it. I would invite you to check out the app. And as promised, here is the rest of the video. All right, so as promised, I wanted to share with you why I'm so passionate about TeamSeas. You know, for me, all it takes is about 5 minutes of a David Attenborough documentary to just be in complete awe of the planet that we have. And recently I saw his latest documentary on Netflix, which he just kind of recounts all that he's seen over his lifetime of, 60 or so years of doing documentaries on this planet. And just the changes that he has seen is just crazy. And it really just goes to show that, just in the last 100 years, we've really done a lot of things repetitively that are just hurting our planet. For me, we only have one planet, and while I love the idea of going to Mars, and I think it's super duper cool, I don't think that should be our solution. Like, I truly believe that if we came together and worked on this as a globe and as a human race, we could really turn the direction around of just not destroying the planet, essentially. And I think it starts with like little small things. My wife and I, we've started, making intentional decisions, like from not just throwing away things, but trying to find new homes for them or donating them. We recycle. We, after watching a documentary last year, I've made the intentional decision to choose white meat over red meat. So if there's an option like a Chipotle for chicken or beef, I'm going with chicken because it's just a more sustainable meat. And even like when we cook like burgers at home, we always do Impossible burgers now instead of like beef burgers, because those red meat, like just the production of those things are just so bad for our planet. So I would ask you to support TeamSeas in whatever way that you can, whether that's financially or just sharing the app that I made, or sharing this video, or sending people to the page and the cause. As a reminder, every dollar that is donated will directly go towards and really remove 1 pound of waste from the waterways. And if you want to see how they are doing that, you need to go to teamseas.org. So thanks for watching this video, hearing what I had to say. And again, if you want to learn more, go to teamseas.org to check out what TeamSeas is doing. Cheers.